Hey, here's a great idea that the media has manufactured out of mostly thin air. Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys. And we are in the fishbowl. The name of Michael Gallup comes up all the time in Dallas Cowboys trade conversations, among fans and media anyway. The reasons are apparent. He does seem, in a way, like an extra piece in this offense. That's not a criticism of him. That's not an insult to him. That's fair. He seems like an extra piece for one thing. For another, 2021 is the final year of his rookie contract. So, we all kind of figure, well, listen, Dallas is on the precipice of having to make a decision here. And on the precipice of losing him after the NFL season 2021 anyway. So maybe they should move on while they can get something. I think that's part of the logic that we hear from media and fans. At least that's the way, that's how I interpret the argument. Add it all up, and the view seems to be, hey, what contending team wouldn't want to add an affordable Michael Gallup as their over-the-top piece? Now let's talk real football. There's two real football issues with this view. By the way, thank you for subscribing to what we do here. 26,000 strong in Cowboys Nation and growing. More than 100 of you now are in the Cowboy Premium Club. Thank you for that. A bunch of you have purchased T-shirts. If you purchase a T-shirt or a hoodie or whatever, I promise you it will have sleeves. It will be delivered with sleeves. And then, so many of you are hitting the like button, that thumbs up button, hitting that bell so you know when we've got an alert, when we've got a video, which we do with great frequency, of course, and subscribing, which costs you nothing. It gives you nothing but pleasure. So, the two real football issues, and again, I enjoy fantasy football. I've been playing fantasy football since 1990, longer than you've been alive. I enjoy the puzzle pieces of, hey, what if we traded this in actual football? What if we traded this guy? What about this pick? What about the Jimmy Johnson trade value chart? No, the Mike McCoy trade value chart, which I've promised you I'll tell you that story, and I will. This is real football. The real Cowboys and the real locker room and the real front office and the real timing and the real circumstance. That's what we're going to talk about here. There's two real football issues with this view that, hey, why wouldn't a team want to trade for Michael Gallup and put him over the top? Some contender is going to come get Michael Gallup. One, the Cowboys view themselves as just that contender. The Cowboys view themselves as a team in need of a piece. Now, you can argue whether or not they are. Keep in mind that odds makers think they're going to win the NFC East. And I don't know. Certainly if you're a Cowboy fan, you don't disagree with that distinct possibility. So if the Cowboys think that they're a piece away from being a contender, why would they give up the piece to another team that wants a piece? The truthful answer is that in Gallup's time here, and we've done, as you know, a lot of research on this, a lot of digging on this, a lot of conversation on this, exclusive, and sources and the whole bit. The Cowboys have seriously considered trading Michael Gallup once, and that's when his name came up in Jamal Adams' talks with the Jets, the all-pro safety. And by the way, you want to give me an all-pro safety who's the same age as Michael Gallup? Okay, now we'll talk. That was my view, and it was the Cowboys too. So, yeah, we'll sacrifice a piece to get a better one. Two, and this comes straight from an NFL team source, not the Cowboys, who says to me, and by the way, he likes Gallup. This individual thinks Michael Gallup is a good football player. He says, we'd probably rather just draft one. That's what That's the big part of what the critics are forgetting. In fact, both those things, both those items get forgotten here. One, trade him to a contender, well, then we'll be less of a contender, and we think we are one. We're the one that needs a piece. And two, the other team, depending on what you ask for in trade, is going to say, we'll just draft one. Just as the Cowboys' thoughts on Gallup's future are in part about affordability and cap fit, they have CeeDee Lamb on a rookie contract. They have Amari Cooper. And by not yet, flipping the switch on Cooper's contract, they have retained escapability from him next offseason, I believe. All that's part of the equation, but other teams think the same thing. Other teams think about the affordability of rookie contracts too. Michael Gallup is entering the final year of a rookie contract. The team that might want to trade for Michael Gallup can draft one at the beginning of his rookie contract. So pick a round. Because again, this part is just conversation anyway. Give me a third round pick for Michael Gallup. Let me get something for him before now again, you might say, third round, I don't need a first round. Come on. Give me a third round pick for Michael Gallup. Let's move him along while we still can. The other team will be renting him for a year, admittedly at $2.4 million, a bargain. And then theoretically losing him, unless they want to pay him the big money that this concept suggests the Cowboys will not want to do. Which, by the way, I don't know that they won't do that. They've never said that. We just, again, fans media, trying to do the puzzle piece thing. Maybe the Cowboys will try to keep Cooper and Lamb and Gallup. I know you've watched today's NFL. When I was growing up, there was 2 starting wide receivers. You know what there are now, right? Michael Gallup is a starter for the Dallas Cowboys. Unless you want to go back to a fullback in his place, which you don't. 2021 Cowboys might not even have a fullback on their roster, not a real one. So maybe some team rolls in here and blows away the Cowboys with an offer, but New England? And again, this fan media idea of Gilmore, the terrific cornerback. Gilmore makes $17 million this year and he wants an extension. That's a $20 million. He wants a $20 million a year extension. Only in a non-cap fantasy world does that make any sense for Dallas. If they wanted a $20 million cornerback, if they wanted a premium cornerback, William Jackson just signed, and he's one of the top 4 man corners in football. Leaves the crappy Bengals, goes to if you don't know him who he was before, you'll know him now. Goes to the good Washington on a deal that is 3 years and $42 million. I'm not very good at math, but that's not 20, is it? That's, 13 and change a year. It's a $13 million cornerback, not a 20. If the Cowboys wanted a premium cornerback, they would have just signed William Jackson III and given him $13 million. So why do they want a $20 million cornerback and give up Michael Gallup to get him? They could have kept Michael Gallup at $2.4 million and went and got William Jackson III. It's pretty clear that's not what they want to do at cornerback. Is spend $20 million, let alone 13. By the way, as I speak to you here, if there's an update on this, yell at me in the comments. But, we enter the week with all the Richard Shermans and all the Casey Haywards and that caliber of guys still floating around out there. Doesn't appear as though they're going to get $13 million. Snap, snap, chop, chop, Cowboys. Now, let's throw Kyle Pitts into this conversation. We've seen speculation that Dallas would simply draft Kyle Pitts at 10 in the upcoming NFL draft and then trade Gallup. Again, I'm not calling anybody out here. I know we're just media theorizing, but draft Pitts at 10 and then trade Gallup, because who needs all those pass catchers is the logic from some. That idea comes from the media. That idea does not come from here in Frisco. It does not. It also ignores the distinct possibility. I'm numbering things today because there's a lot to unpack here. It also ignores two concepts. One, the distinct possibility that Pitts is selected by the Bengals at 5, and you never get a sniff of him at 10. A distinct possibility. Florida tight end Kyle Pitts to the aforementioned Bengals at 5. And then, using that logic, hey man, let's get Pitts. Then we don't even need a third receiver. Well then, why do you need, if you have Gallup, then why do you need Blake Jarwin? Because you need a tight end and a third receiver. You need them both. Now they all have to fit cap-wise. Pitts would. You're not going to get him. Not at 10. Not unless you want to go overspend to go up and get him. But you see the point? Well, if we have Pitts, we don't need Gallup. Well, therefore, if you have Gallup, you don't need Blake Jarwin, but yes, you do, because you need a tight end. Michael Gallup's not going to go line up a tight end, and Pitts, as brilliant as he's going to be, could play wide receiver, but he's going to play tight end. He's going to do some tight end things too. Ultimately, what media and fans clamoring for a trade of Gallup because Dallas should get something for him before he leaves, what they miss out on is the fact that the NFL's compensatory pick system, one area where the Cowboys really do have it mastered, they got that part down cold, could very well provide Dallas with the same decent mid-round pick that they'd be getting by trading him. They get that pick in 2023, of course. So what do you gain by trading Michael Gallup for a third? Nothing. Nothing. What do you do in the third round? You look at your roster and go, boy, we sure do. We could have Cedric Wilson be our third receiver, but boy, you might end up drafting a wide receiver anyway. So Dallas's sensible plan. Again, I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for hitting the bell. I thank you for hitting the like. That like thing seems to be working. People seem to be catching on to what we do here, and I appreciate you spreading the word in Cowboys Nation, and your comments, of course, as always. Dallas's sensible plan: retain the offensive weapons they'll need to be the contender they believe themselves to be. Jerry always talks about this in the offensive line. Mr. Mack, we want to keep our strength strong. Meaning, hey, we've spent all these resources to get this great offensive line. Let's keep it great. Let's not be afraid to spend more resources, which, by the way, is why the idea of Sewell and Slater at 10, completely viable, even though they don't need. Mr. Mack, keep our strength strong. Keep his strength strong, as owner Jerry Jones likes to say, meaning that barring a blowaway trade offer, don't sell Gallup low. As much as you like Pitts, it has nothing to do with this. Not really. Don't sell Gallup low, and probably don't sell him at all. Fish.